This is going to be a short presentation just to give you an idea of what it would be like to be a student in our department, to share a little bit about our faculty, and just give you a better feel for what we're all about. So of course, our websites and our Facebook page are where you can go to get even more information about us. We have everything from descriptions of our faculty and staff to the academic programs to a lot of news and stories that update things like current student successes, recent successes of our faculty. For instance, here's a story on a new biochemistry hire that we've done with Dr. Ian Carter O'Connell. Facebook's also a good place to go just to get little short excerpts of some of the things that we've been up to lately. So the department, we have about 100 majors, and we have two different majors in our department. You can be a biochemistry major or you can be a chemistry major. The curriculum for each is a little bit different, but very much the same as well. We have about 100 majors total, usually about 25 to 30 per year. We have more biochemistry majors than chemistry majors, which is typical. We have 10, we're actually going to add an 11th faculty member next year. All of them are going to be working with students in their research labs. All of them teach the classes here. Modern instrumentation, so both our research labs and our teaching labs, students get to use equipment. They get to see what current instrumentation is being used in industry and in academia, and they get to actually do hands-on work with those instruments. It's a great preparation for a lot of career paths, as I'm going to show on the next slide. Just because you major in chemistry or biochemistry, it doesn't mean that you're just going to be a scientist in a lab the rest of your life, which you could be, of course, if that's what you wanted. So just to show a little bit of some recent graduates in both chemistry and biochemistry. So a lot of students will go on to get a PhD. It's not uncommon at all in either of these majors that they'll go on to get a PhD. We have some that are postdoctoral scholars now, which they do after their PhD. People go to med school, they're very popular. Both of these majors are very popular for pre-med students, especially biochemistry, because you actually take all the classes that you need for pre-med along with the major. To satisfy the major, you satisfy all your pre-med requirements. So as you can see through the chemistry side, PhD candidates, sometimes people just go on to get jobs. Recent graduate in my group got a job up at a chemistry company up in Berkeley. Bioinformatics, even wine companies. We have somebody actually that works at Lagunitas making beer, involved with their brewery there. So there's a lot of different things that people do. So the skills that you get in chemistry and biochemistry, you're going to get analytical skills, you're going to get a broad training in science, and it's going to be desirable for a lot of different jobs, a lot of different graduate programs. So the classroom, we've recently redesigned our major. And what we've done is we've moved organic chemistry up to start in the first year. And at first people think, oh, organic chemistry, that's going to be really hard to take right away. The reason we did that is because when you start college level chemistry, you start usually with general chemistry, as you do here, which is really what you did in high school. High school is mostly general chemistry. So of course it's at a higher level here, but sometimes to do that, to come right in and just take one full year of Gen Chem, students don't really get exposure to different types of chemistry. So by starting Organic Chemistry 1 at the end of the spring, it's a perfect time, because Organic Chemistry 1 is really just the basics, mostly about the structure of organic chemistry, some of the conformations, some spectroscopy, some things like that. And then when they take Organic Chemistry 2 and 3 to finish out the year, their sophomore year, that's when we get into much more of the reactions and mechanisms, and where, you know, people think, oh, it's so hard because there's so many things here. Well, you already get the fundamentals in the spring, and then you finish off your sophomore year. It also exposes people to different types of chemistry that first year, and it really ignites an interest for students, because occasionally students will come in and they took high school chemistry, then they take a full year of general chemistry, and they might think, well, chemistry is not really for me. This is all chemistry is. So by being introduced to organic chemistry that first year, it gives them a different aspect, lets them see a different aspect of chemistry, and it also helps them get in the research lab earlier. And then at the end of their sophomore year, then they take one more quantitative class, which is more like a general chemistry class we call quantitative analysis. So overall, those first 2 years, you really take one full year of more quantitative classes, one full year of organic classes. We just have them divided up a little differently. Now, depending on what their major is, junior and senior year, there's some inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry, biochemistry. We have special topics classes, medicinal chemistry, polymer chemistry. And of course, during this whole time, they're going to be taking classes at other departments as well. So one of our big selling points is that the students get in the research lab. So this is my research lab. These are a couple of students that work with me. Alia is actually a biochemistry major. She started research with me her sophomore year. She stayed last summer, and she's continued to do research with me today. She has published with me. Her name's on a publication. She was invited to go to a conference in the spring out in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, the conference got canceled, but she's just been fantastic. And Alex is kind of hidden behind her there. And my research group is 4 students. It's common size, about 4 or 5 students. So it's a lot of personal interactions. And it's really one of the highlights, I think, for the students and for the faculty to really spend a lot of time outside of the classroom to work on original science. And it's really what, again, I think oftentimes ignites their interest in continuing on into scientific disciplines. Ollie is actually going to go to dental school, and Alex behind her is going to go to graduate school. This is another research lab across the hall. This is Professor Fuller's lab. She's an organic chemist as well. She's a little bit more bio focused. And this is just an idea of all the instrumentation that students would get to work with in a lab. Now, again, these aren't teaching labs. So these are for students that are doing independent research with us. Again, we take all majors, but of course, chemistry and biochemistry majors are our first choices. So we're really proud of our student research, what we're able to do with them. It's a really nice community. We have faculty and students that we try to get together as much as we can. We have seminars, a lot of participation from the students. In the summer times, we have about 40 students working in the summers for 10 weeks. We do a lot of activities with them. They obviously spend a lot of time in their own research groups. A lot of different research areas. We have people that work with drug interactions, cell membranes, somebody just sorting cancer cells based on single cell metabolism. My work is in the synthesis of polymers, and this is just a small sampling of it, but we have a wide array of options that students can choose from. At the beginning of this talk, there is a picture of some students at a conference. So students then are encouraged to go and present either orally or a poster session at conferences. We have some local conferences. This one was at San Jose State, but they traveled to San Francisco. I took some students to New Orleans to a conference. So they do, I know we've had some students even go overseas, do international conferences. So we present our work everywhere. So it's a really neat thing for students, of course, to get to travel, to talk about their work, to see what other students are working on as well. This is in the summertime. Again, like I said, we try to do activities to get students and faculty together. So students across different lab groups get to interact together. This is at the Forge Garden, which is a really neat spot at Santa Clara. And what we've done recently is we do something like we'll have a taco truck come, and they'll we'll bring some drinks along, some games along, and at the end of a week or so, we'll just hang out and get to spend some time together. So this is really neat in terms of building community and students getting to know each other and really getting support. Something that's really exciting, you've probably heard about this, and in looking at Santa Clara a little more broadly, is there's a huge construction underway, and what it's going to build is the Sobrato campus for discovery and innovation. This is where all the sciences are going to move into. Chemistry is among them. So we're going to have all new research building, all new research facilities, all new offices, all new classrooms. Everything is going to be moved over to here. It's slated to open in fall of 2021. And so again, that's really going to change the way that we're able to do things. Right now, we have nice facilities, but we're spread out across a couple buildings. And what this is going to do is bring everybody together. And I think it's going to be a great thing for our department. And this is always the last slide I put. It just kind of showcases and shows off our department. We have a lot of active external funding. So our faculty write grants. We're funded by NSF. We're funded by NIH. We have actually over $2 million in external funding now that pays for students to stay over the summer. It pays for research. It pays for travel. We have special topics that we offer every year. This year, what we're going to offer is medicinal chemistry and polymer chemistry. And we publish quite a bit. So students and faculty, it's not unusual at all that students get their names on 2 or 3 papers. And so that's actually somewhat unusual for an undergraduate to get that opportunity. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on. So this is a little bit of an abbreviated talk. I usually would have students up here as a panel with me if this was happening live, let them share their experiences with you and let you guys answer some questions. But because of the circumstances, we can't do that. Again, my name is Eric Tillman. If you want to reach out to me for more questions, you can find my email on the website. I can also give it to you. It's etillman@scu.edu, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.